What's up, Pointers, and welcome back to the Sports Hub. I'm Will Haroldson. Alongside me today are Ashton Parker and Carson Teuke. Today we have some exciting things to talk about. The Pointers football team, the volleyball team's successful road trip, the Badgers finally get a ranked win, and how the Green Bay Packers have been so successful during this 6-game winning streak, and what to look forward to this Thursday night's game against the Cardinals. All this when we come back. Pointers football team continues to struggle, losing their 5th straight game after starting off 2-0. After Saturday's 45-21 loss to UW-Platteville, the Pointers have a 2-5 record and are now in their hardest stretch of the season. For the final 3 games, the Pointers will have to face 3 of the best teams in the entire WIAC. So Carson, I'll start with you. How exactly does a team fall apart after a 2-0 game? Because they just have not been the same team that they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think it all depends. You got to look at who they played so far. They played some better teams than they might have been as of right now. But and you got to look at, I guess, game script, people on the field. Defense has kind of struggled. They're giving up like 32 points per game against all the teams so far, like total. So it's not it's a recipe for disaster if you got to have your offense try to have a shootout, and obviously that hasn't worked out well.
Yeah, without question. And something you and I talked about were the teams that, especially this past weekend, they played UW-Platteville, and they're a team that was 1-5 going in, but they had 3 games where they lost by single digits.
Correct.
And so they were a lot better team than what they showed. And the Pointers just really just haven't been able to get anything.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with Carson there. We've just been playing against better competition. WIAC has been known to be one of the hardest conferences in the nation in terms of Division III. And it doesn't help that our first 2 games this season, well, technically first 3, but really the first 2 games of the season were both out-of-conference games. So it didn't really give a good testament to show how good we were, because everybody but Platteville won both their out-of-conference games. And, obviously Platteville, absolutely destroyed us last week. But honestly, I think it's just the defense has just been really, really struggling. They've given up 32 points per game, while we've only been scoring 21 points per game. And that is just a recipe for disaster.
Right. That's not going to cut it. And I think we were talking about it before the game. They have to play the 3 best remaining teams in Whitewater, La Crosse, and Oshkosh. And with the way they've been playing lately, it's going to be really tough. They're going to need a miracle, really, to pull off a win in any of those 3 games.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree. I really don't see them winning, honestly. I think the rest of the season should just be thinking ahead for the future. We do have there's a couple pieces in the team that's still pretty young, so we still have more time with them, and possibly in the future we'll be able to, see them play better than what they did this season. But honestly, I think we should just be focusing on just trying to get these younger players more experience, because that's what we have to focus on for the future.
Take something positive into the off season, really, because it's really hard to think of anything positive that's gone for the team so far this year.
Especially if you watched every single game, it's kind of hard to get excited about.
And it's too bad, because there's definitely talent there.
Oh, for sure.
They just haven't been able to put it together.
I don't know whether if it's just the chemistry or what it is, but yeah, like you said, they just haven't been able to execute it on the field like that.
It's been a disappointing season thus far, that's for sure. When we come back, we'll talk about how the Pointers volleyball team this past weekend in the Illinois Wesleyan tournament. So don't go away, because we'll be right back.
The Media Studies is a program for people who love to tell stories, whether that be in written form, visual, or audio.
Media Studies is exciting because it's always fresh, it's always new.
Media is at the center of everything we do. More and more people are asked to engage with media and use media. Our program really provides students with skills and techniques to be better prepared for that in the future.
We offer courses in media production, both video and audio, nonfiction and fiction, music production, journalism, film studies.
Media Studies is a great way to get hands-on experience in the field that you're looking everything to do. They teach you the basic concept behind everything, and then they tell you to go do it.
We really pride ourselves on thinking of a wide set of opportunities that we can give our students.
The student organizations are a great asset. We have SPTV, the student television organization, 90 FM, the radio, and The Pointer, our student-run newspaper.
It's a great way for students to get involved, learn skills that they need for class, and meet new people.
Some great facilities where our students can hone their skills.
There's a giant studio in the center of the comm building. I've had quite a few classes in there.
A lot of our classes are very hands-on, they're very interpersonal.
You're getting the skills that will allow you to create your future, and I think that's what makes it a truly amazing experience for students.
There's an incredible range of options for graduates. We've had students go out and become independent contractors, work for radio stations, newspapers, with TV stations.
Everyone is different and they have their own unique style. In all the classes and all the student organizations you get involved in, you have a lot of flexibility to really create your own work and do it in a way that means something to you.
We're excited to see what students are making and what they want to make, and how we can help students get from where they are to where they want to be.
I'm in a video production class that's teaching me how to film documentaries. I'm also in a screenwriting class and I get to learn how to write movies. So I'm doing all these different cool things and I love it every day.
Welcome back to the Sports Hub. Going into this weekend, this weekend's tournament in Bloomington, Illinois, the Lady Pointers volleyball team was on a little bit of a losing streak, losing 3-0 to Whitewater, then losing a heartbreaker to UW Oshkosh 3-2. The team came in with a vengeance, winning all 3 of their tournament games 3-0 and giving themselves some more momentum to carry into the WIAC championship tournament. So Ashton, I'll start with you this time. 2 regular season games left to go, 1 conference, 1 not of conference. Obviously, they've been all but eliminated from winning the regular season championship, but at this point you would think they're trying to set themselves up for a championship run.
Yes, exactly. I think what they're trying to do right now is that they're trying to make sure they have momentum on their side going into the tournament. You know, if they win 5 straight going into the tournament, that's pretty good. They have the momentum, and they'll be able to hopefully do a lot of damage in it, because this Lady Pointer team has been known to be very, very good. Remember, early in the season, we had that 15-game winning streak, and that was incredibly impressive. And, you know, we're still ranked top 25, and we're a really, really good team. So I think just winning these next 2 games is just more or less a confidence booster for the Lady Pointers, so that they can do well in the tournament.
Yeah, without question. I mean, and rankings come out tomorrow, so we're assuming after a weekend of just 3-0 victories, you're going to continue to still be ranked. But like, at this point, would you think it would be hard to, you know, they know in all likelihood that they're going to go to the postseason. Do you think that's difficult to maybe look too far ahead on something like that, or do you think they're going to keep pretty grounded and stay in the moment?
I think it's a mixture of both. I mean, obviously you want to look ahead, and you know, you have that excitement of, okay, we're probably going to get in, and you got to think about some strategies possibly going into that. But you don't want to like take your foot off the gas of the momentum now. So I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, no, without question. I mean, going into any postseason with some form of win streak, I think, would be beneficial for them. And I believe the last game will be on October 30th.
Yes.
It'll be Halloween.
No.
Excuse me. I was thinking
Halloween.
it was Halloween. The day before Halloween, but they play lacrosse at home, and the 2 final games are in Berg Gym.
Yep.
So it would give the Pointers faithful a chance to see their volleyball team one more time before the playoffs. And I believe in the playoff format, it's kind of to be determined. The locations haven't been decided
I was
yet.
about to say, we haven't seen anything yet in terms of schedule for the tournament, but I think it's incredibly important to remember this sort of momentum shift when it comes to playoffs from regular season. Amazing example of this, sadly, are the Brewers. You know, they did absolutely incredible in the regular season up until September, and as September hit, I think they went like 10-15 with a really, really bad losing skid at the end, and then you can see that they lost 3-1 to the Braves in NLDS, and the Braves are actually going to the World Series now. You know, I'm happy for them, first time in like over 20 years. So, but I think it's still incredibly important to keep that momentum on their side and to make sure they have as much of it as they can, because it's going to be really tough in the playoffs.
And to Ashton's point, you kind of want to think about load management up to a point. I think you alluded to they know that they're going to make the playoffs, but also, you want to keep your players healthy, but also you want to give them game time reps so they know what it's like to compete, because it's one thing to do a week straight of practice against a team. It's another thing to do live games, because, you're in the playoffs. It's a one-and-done situation.
Yeah, I like you alluded to. Yeah, I think it is smart. You wanna stay fresh. You want to keep everybody healthy for the playoffs. But you said load management. I think you just gotta play it game by game, see how it goes, and then kind of worry about if you want to keep your starters or your star players or whatever you want to call it in, or if you just want to get some other players some extra reps just in case, because you never know what could happen.
Right, without question. The WIAC championship round starts on November 2nd, and location will still be determined. It's no question it's an exciting time to be a Pointer volleyball fan. When we come back, we'll discuss the Badgers and the Packers' success this past weekend and what to look forward to this upcoming week's matchup. So don't turn away. We'll be right back.
UW-Stevens Point is home.
It's a university where professors know your name and get you involved in research.
They inspire us to realize big dreams.
At UW-Stevens Point, sustainability is what we stand for.
Our beautiful campus encourages exploration, developing new fields, and problem solving for the real world.
It's a great place to launch your career.
UW-Stevens Point is home.
Apply today at uwsp.edu.
Entering this Saturday's game, the Wisconsin Badgers had an 8-game losing streak to AP Top 25 ranked teams. But with the help of a solid run game between Ches Malusi and Braylon Allen, and one of the nation's best defenses, the Badgers were able to come away with a dominant 30-13 win in West Lafayette. Guys, there was a lot to be impressed at if you're a Badgers fan. If you had to pick something in general, what would you say was the most impressive thing? Because for me, I'll kind of toss it off. I got to say that the performance by Leo Chanel was one impressive defensive performance.
It's very true. As you said earlier, our defense is one of the best in the nation, and it's the fact that we have that defense that I think they're able to figure out what to do. They're able to find out that, wait, what if we run the ball, don't turn it over, and then just have our defense kind of carry us a bit. And look at that. They won 30-13 against the 25th ranked Purdue team.
Who just
beat Iowa.
And they didn't just barely beat Iowa. They beat down Iowa.
Who was the number 2 team in the country at the time.
Correct.
That's who the Badgers would play next. But,
yes.
From a statistical standpoint, the Badgers had 2 running backs that went over 100 yards. That'd be Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi. When you have 2 running backs go over 100, you like your chances at winning that game.
Oh yeah, and that's been the recipe for Wisconsin football for how many years now? You just dominate the run game. You don't have to have. They haven't had really a star quarterback since Russell Wilson. So you just depend on running the football and then having a couple extra plays or whatever in there, so you don't have to rely on your quarterback winning it.
I think that's a good point. The fact that they haven't really. Mertz, highly recruited quarterback, comes out of high school, has that amazing first start game against Illinois last year. But ever since that point, he's just been really mediocre and making some big mistakes. But to his credit, in the game, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't put our defenses in tough positions. He did have 1 sack where he lost the ball, but in fairness to him, it was a total missed block by the offensive line.
No, agree.
And also they play number 8 or 9 Iowa, ranked in the nation, in Camp Randall this Saturday. So a chance to get back-to-back ranked wins. And Iowa's going to be coming off a bye, but when you look at these 2 teams, they are almost identical in every facet, where they're really solid on defense, and they're going to have a complementary offense that'll try to take away the clock. But I think something important, if Wisconsin wants to win the game against Iowa, they need to have passed the ball. Because if you're like Wisconsin on defense, which Iowa is, they're going to take away one thing, and you know that they're going to take away one thing. That might be the run game. And so Mertz is going to have to show that he can pass the ball, and
I'm very, very skeptical about this next game. I just don't trust Mertz's ability to throw the ball.
As of what we've seen.
I just don't trust it. Honestly, the Purdue game was a great way to, finally get that win. Of course, like run game, defense, amazing. But now we're going to get someone even tougher. Purdue beat them. But still, they're ranked number 8 for a reason. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see how Wisconsin could possibly upset them, because I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but I'm not feeling too confident.
Right, and the Vegas odds I saw already, they already have the Wisconsin favored -3 at home against the number 8 team in the country. And, there's something interesting, a fact that I saw is that Iowa, despite winning against the Badgers last year, they haven't won in Madison since 2015, the one year they won the division. And in the Big Ten East, you have a lot of teams, but I think it's funny, after starting 1-3, they still have a chance to win the division if they win out. I mean,
the Big Ten is they just eat each other up. It's it's either one year they're all super good or they're all just like super bad. It's usually like nothing in between. I don't know. This game to me feels like it's gonna be like a 13-10 score. For sure. It's just gonna be a rugged, hard-nosed game.
No, without question. And something you can look at when Wisconsin wins games, they don't turn the ball over much, if at all. So that's going to have to be one focus against an Iowa defense that they struggled against Purdue, letting David Bell get out and get over 200 yards. But you can guarantee that with a week off in preparation, they're not going to let one player go over 200 yards, whether that's a running back or so. Essentially, I think maybe the game plan for Iowa coming in is they're going to dare Graham Mertz to beat us, because you haven't really done well against ranked competition so far. Prove that you can beat us, and I think Iowa might come in with if he can beat us that way, then he can beat us, but they don't think that he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
I can't say much more.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he hasn't played really too well this year. Right. So I mean, if you're gonna make someone beat you, make it be Graham Mertz.
And I think we hear a lot of like negative things about him. The talent is there. We saw it in the Elite 11 camp he was in. The talent's there. It's just it hasn't quite correlated to on the field yet. And I think if he's able to be successful in the game against Iowa, he can maybe take that step towards being a better quarterback. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be a rough test, that's for sure. The Green Bay Packers won their 6th straight game against the Washington football team with their best defensive performance yet. Entering the day, the Packers had the worst red zone defense, allowing 15 touchdowns on 15 trips to the red zone. But on Sunday's game against Washington was a different story. The Packers stopped Washington every time they entered the red zone and came away with a few turnovers as well. After seeing the Packers struggle so much in that area of defense, it was fulfilling to see them do well against Washington. What was your perspective of that, Ashton? Just 15 for 15 touchdowns is a horrible stat. And I watched the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, and they almost kind of laughed at it. They were saying, how does a team allow 15 touchdowns on 15 trips and be a professional football team?
How does that happen? I can tell you exactly how they're they were 5-1 and they allowed 15 for 15, because it's Aaron Rodgers, baby. It's because he's so good. I'm going to say this every week. Aaron Rodgers is the heart and soul of this team. The defense is a great outer body. They're basically it allows them to stay in these games. But if we don't have a great quarterback, and luckily we have Aaron Rodgers, then we're not going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really, really great that the defense performed as well as it did, because it gives them a lot of confidence for the future. As we saw in previous weeks, the defense isn't that great this year for the Packers. We have loads of injuries to the defense. We still got more injuries this week, but we have quite a few rookies and a few like kind of inexperienced players on the defense. So I think the fact that they stopped Washington every time they went to the red zone is amazing for them. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, one of them, the first one he did was because Taylor Heineke, when he dived into the end zone, which he totally didn't need to, his knee touched the 1 yard line, and then he didn't get the QB sneak back in. And I think
almost a 2-for-1 there. 2 stops on
exactly. But I think it really, really helped the defense because that was the first one, and then every other time they are able to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can already see it come to effect about this defense maybe having more confidence and then performing better, which they're going to need definitely on Thursday.
Without question, because they're playing the best team in the NFL right now, the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. So the defense is going to have to step up because Aaron Rodgers can score as many points as you want, but if the Cardinals match them at that pace, it's going to be hard to win.
And that offense can match. That offense is very good.
Without question. I mean, Kyler Murray has just had a fantastic year with Christian Kirk, and now you got Zach Ertz from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's really hard to pick a spot in that Cardinals offense where they are not lacking in talent. It truly is hard.
The potential bright spot for Thursday, though, is Kyler did get banged up against the Texans this past week. Took a couple shots to the head, a couple shots to the rib area, so he might not be at 100%. But
that's the kind of
75% Kyler Murray is still better than Taylor Heineke.
Right, and that's the difficulty in guarding against the Cardinals is because they run kind of a college-style offense where they run around and they do not exactly trick plays, but they're different than typical NFL play calls. And
they do the air raid offense.
I think without question, if the Packers are able to get a win, that would be a statement and put themselves back in the Super Bowl contention. Because I mean, if you watch a lot of these shows, you'll see them say, "Oh, the Packers they're 6-1," but really, who have they played? Who have they beaten?
Exactly. Yeah, the only honestly, and I can kind of agree with them there. What is it? The only team they beat is what? Bengals. And the Bengals are good.
They had a really
don't get me wrong, the Bengals are good, but that was in an overtime.
Ugly
game.
Tournament.
That game.
Overtime thriller.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's go with that. But I definitely think that this is going to be their statement win that they got to make. Who's the next team they got to beat? Chiefs?
They're not
Patrick
doing
Mahomes?
that
No. Seahawks? Russell Wilson's not back. Vikings? They're
Maybe.
fine.
Then you get the Rams.
Rams? There you go. That's the next team is the Rams.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch, though. I mean, the Packers usually split one with the Vikings every year.
It's true. That's definitely true.
And Patrick Mahomes is still one of the better quarterbacks in the league, regardless of how bad he played on Sunday and how bad the defense is. I mean, I would want to go in a shootout with him.
No,
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm going to
not.
say how bad he played on Sunday, how bad he's played all season. He hasn't been great.
Yeah, he's been very disappointing.
And to your point, though, all he's been hearing is, "Oh, well, I'm not playing great," and then the next game, for all we know, he can throw 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, and just be unbeatable. So I think, and then they also played the Baltimore Ravens, I believe, later this year in Baltimore, I believe.
Yes, I'm trying to convince my friend to take me to that game because he's a diehard Ravens fan. So.
You should.
Yeah, I'm going to try. It's I think it's No, it's the week before Christmas. They actually play on Christmas this year.
They play the Browns.
Yes.
Give me
which would be a tough one as well.
Yeah, no.
But I was going to say earlier, I think something else that we need to talk about is that offensive line is going to be absolutely massive for the Packers this week because guess who the Cardinals have this year that they got from the Texans? J.J. Watt. Yep. And he is going to absolutely destroy us if that offensive line just falls apart. Yeah. And again, this offensive line is new. It's inexperienced. Again, we have a lot of injuries. So it's going to be really, really important.
And, I think you and I talked about it before, that they've been just mixing all kinds of people up on that line. And you got to think that a point of emphasis this week is they're most likely going to double team J.J. Watt because if he just gets in the backfield, then we can't find ourselves behind these guys.
Yeah, but you got to think they'll more than likely double team J.J. if Chandler Jones doesn't play. But if Chandler Jones comes back this week, you can't double team both of them. So I think you got to let J.J. Watt be singled at that point because, I mean, he's still one of the best defensive players of all time. He's still he's still fairly well now, but he's kind of on starting to get on a little bit of a decline. The sacks aren't there this year.
Strategically, you would think maybe the Packers would be like, okay, we know they have a good pass rush. Do we just get the ball out of Aaron's hand as fast as we can, or let him make plays like we know he can?
Yeah, I was gonna say it wouldn't be a bad idea. We still have Aaron Jones, and he hasn't had I wouldn't say like record-breaking as a year as Aaron Jones did last year, but he's still been good. Yeah. He's still a good running back.
He just hasn't been getting the amount of touches he should.
I was about to say Aaron Rodgers has been throwing the ball a lot this year. So I don't know. It's gonna be It should be a very, very fun one though this Thursday because both these teams are great.
It'll be a great game, that's for sure. Well, that'll do it for today's Sports Hub. Make sure you tune in next week for next week's episode. Catch up on all things sports. We thank you everybody so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.